Today's story comes from Jackie in Lincoln, Nebraska. She had a near-death experience that helped her gain some insight into life and what we are doing that can affect the future of humanity, as well as provided proof that what she experienced was real. I had a near-death experience after going into diabetic shock. I had been living just to work, not paying attention to what I was eating or how I was treating my body. I was really neglecting myself and in a lot of stress constantly. I had worked a 12-hour shift at the hospital, and I was approaching the end of my shift when I started to feel a little anxious and shaky. It was not usually anything that concerned me too much. I would leave snacks in my car in case my blood sugar was low, but I had just run out. I was almost home and called my boyfriend to see if he was awake and if I needed to stop at the grocery store for anything. I pulled up, and as I was walking to the door, the shakiness started to get worse and I collapsed in the entryway. Next thing I know is that everything went black. I felt my soul separating from my body, but it was almost bouncing all over, kind of going in and out. I didn't want to leave my body, but it was almost as if my body was rejecting me. Then I had the awareness of my body being a container or vessel that was kind of done with me at that moment. I had neglected it and didn't treat it the way I should have. I felt suspended in the entryway of my house, and I saw my boyfriend coming to me while I was outside of my body. He started to call 911 and was trying to keep me awake, but I was not responding, and I saw my body convulsing. And this is also when I felt my soul bouncing around, which was strange to me, because it felt like I was fighting with my body. After that, everything went black again. This time, when I opened my eyes, I was in a vortex of light, and it felt very inviting, completely different from how I felt when I was leaving my body. The light was ready to receive me, my soul, my essence. I freely surrendered to it. I started to hear the most beautiful sounds as I entered the light even further, and it didn't have a melody, it just sounded like nature merging together, and it was beautiful. I started spinning through the vortex of light with all of nature's beautiful songs inviting me in. It was almost like I was in a trance. I knew it was me, but I was completely different. I was merging with something bigger. I felt like I was traveling in there for quite a while. I wasn't sure how long it was going on, but then it was over. And the feeling of peace came over me, and I felt like I was being led through an entrance to another bigger space or chamber within the light. Then I saw a huge male figure approaching me, and he was beautiful as well. He was wearing a white robe almost like a toga, which sounds so cliche, but that's what he was wearing, and it was luminescent. He also had these eyes that were crystal clear, and they were shining just like the rest of him, and he looked like some kind of angel. Then he told me he was in fact an angel and messenger of the divine, and that he was there to receive me where all souls come from in return. He then said to me that I had died for a few minutes, but that I was currently in a coma at the hospital. I then stayed there with him for what felt like a very long time, but time was also limitless there. It's hard to say, because when I returned to my body, I had been dead for only a couple of minutes and in a coma for a few days, but it felt much longer than that when I was there. What I gratefully remember was that I was shown how life works, how we ascend to better life situations, how we affect one another in an unconscious, indirect way. I don't know why I was shown all of this. I didn't believe in any of this until I had the experience either. I don't want to call myself an atheist because I was open to believing in something, but I really didn't think there was any proof of anything up until that point. I had also had previous experiences with losing loved ones, and I never received any signs or anything like that, like some people talk about. And I lost people very close to me up until that time. My brother passed away, my grandmother, who helped raise me until I was 15 years old, a close friend of mine, but I never once believed that there was something after they died. But never once did I get any sign that their spirit still existed. Of course, that has all changed since my NDE. The best part of being in what I call the divine, what others call heaven, God, or the afterlife, is the feeling of synchronicity of life. It all made sense when I had my NDE. I fully understood what we were supposed to do while we were alive, and strongly felt that life was the experience of something much bigger. It was just a small piece of our soul's journey. We all were made with the pure, divine love of God. We all carried a piece of God or heaven with us from the time we are born. We all have it in us, and we are not separate from one another. We complicate everything when we learn to separate ourselves. We are given the gift of life and need to learn how to be what we were when we first came here. This whole journey of life is to come here to Earth, help each other because it's kind of traumatic in comparison to the journey outside of our Earth experience, and then we return to what we once were. I learned that every thought we have affects us and others. We can direct our thoughts towards others, negative and positive. It all does have an effect on everything around us and how it shapes our own personal life. I learned that our souls are basically energy. We carry a frequency that aligns itself to the same frequency of others. All the people we are around can affect us, but we can affect them as well. We need to protect our own energy. Sometimes we can't pick people we are around, but we can try to protect our thoughts. Be aware when we are around negative energy. I also learned about events coming in the future. I saw that there were wars, destruction, bad people trying to take over the world. It was horrific. I was grateful that I don't have to go through it now. From what I saw from the events I was shown, it was about 20 years away in the 2040s. However, I think I was shown these events in order to be able to send this message to others. I was given the message that this could be the future, but that it can be changed with our current actions. Like people say, the best time to do something was yesterday, and the next best time is today. Well, that's the truth. We may have made a mess of things, but today gives a chance to change the future. I have experienced so many things since my event that I consider small miracles because they've changed the quality of my life. I had always suffered with migraines and asthma, as well as symptoms from my diabetes. However, since the event, I haven't had a single episode of either. I have also gained slight psychic abilities. I am a lot more in tune with people's feelings and have been known to say exactly what someone else is thinking just by looking at them. I know I was given these abilities to help people in some way, and I've been able to use it in my current job as a motivational coach and trainer. I think the experience really helped me to see life and the afterlife as just a transition. We keep existing. We are endless. But what we really need to focus on is making our experiences in life more aligned to God, to love, to helping each other when we see each other suffering. It doesn't have to be difficult. It could be as simple as seeing someone who is having a bad day and doing something nice for them, instead of letting them sit in their misery. I was shown this one event from my life where I saw this woman walk into the coffee shop I used to work in when I was younger. And the woman would come in every week. She was homeless, but she paid like any other customer and would sit and drink her coffee and a muffin. There were other customers that got up and left when she came in and said something rude about her, loud enough for her to hear. I went over to her and told her that she didn't need to worry about them. I made her laugh with a small joke to make her feel more at ease. I was able to see how that action had a ripple effect on her, and even to some of the other people in the coffee shop that saw the interaction. My actions and thoughts helped to neutralize the situation, and that's all it took to end the negative energy wave that was floating through the coffee shop in that moment. Another part of my experience that I think is important to share, that also solidified the fact that it was all real, was when I was dead, I was shown my uncle standing in his field on his farm. He was calling for his dog to come home, but he wasn't coming. I saw him worried, and then I saw the dog had been stuck by the neighbor's fence. I'm very close to this uncle, however. I hardly go to visit, and I had no idea he even had a new dog because it had been a year since I went to his home. But when I woke up, he had called me in the hospital to ask how I was doing. Then I asked him if he had found his dog. He was shocked because he hadn't told anyone in my immediate family what had happened, so he was surprised I knew about it. Thankfully, the dog was okay. The neighbor had found him and sent him back home to my uncle. I want to be able to continue to spread this message of my experience. I think it's important. I know there are many others with similar experiences and know that we do have the power to change the course of life by creating small ripple effects in our actions and thoughts. And that's mainly what I want to share with everyone. Also, if you're diabetic, please take care of yourself, watch your insulin, and make sure you have a loved one who knows how you're feeling. They might save your life one day. Thank you for watching. If you're intrigued by the mysteries of the mind, subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Until next time, keep questioning the world around you.